The following report presents the objectives of this conference. Let's watch.
The two-day summit, which will bring together all 10 regional governors and the nation's top security officials, is convened under the theme Administrative Authorities and the Maintenance of Order in the Post-Electoral Period. This gathering comes at a crucial juncture following the recent nationwide tour to assess first-hand security situation in regions affected by post-electoral unrest by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji. The conference is expected to directly address the challenges identified during that tour, focusing on strategies to reinforce state authority and ensure lasting stability. The agenda will feature pivotal presentations from key security figures, including Martin Barangangele, Delegate General for National Security, Galaxy Toga, Secretary of State to the Minister of Defense in charge of the National Gendarmerie. Their contributions will be central to developing a unified security strategy that aligns the efforts of the police, gendarmerie, and civil administration across the country's regions. A key objective of the conference is to analyze the current socio-political and economic landscape and formulate concrete measures for maintaining public order. Furthermore, with the end-of-year festivities approaching, the governors and security chiefs will deliberate on ways of securing people and their property during the festive period. This high-stakes meeting is anticipated to produce a comprehensive framework aimed at strengthening national cohesion, securing the post-electoral environment, and ensuring the safety of all citizens and their property during a traditionally sensitive time of the year.
6 days to the election of regional councillors in Cameroon, a report presented by Elecam are promising. It is noted that ballot papers and campaign documents are already available. Jude Kenji in the following report paints a picture of how the atmosphere looks like.
6 days to the D-Day for the elections of regional councillors in Cameroon, a moment to cut the T's and dot the I's as far as the election is concerned. According to reports presented during the 5th session as of right of the Electoral Board of the election of regional councillors of 30th November 2025, the responsibilities are clear: to ensure a credible, transparent, inclusive, and peaceful election that is fully aligned with the electoral code and the democratic standards. So far, the divisional branches of Elections Cameroon are ready with ballot papers and campaign documents being produced with logistical arrangements almost complete. Approaching this election is essential to maintain heightened vigilance, impartiality, independence, and availability of effectively prevent any behavior that could undermine the integrity of the electoral process. To also ensure the process moves on smoothly, stakeholders must act and operate in accordance with the legal and regulatory framework as well as the principles governing this civic and sovereign exercise. The process of work done so far can undoubtedly testify to the professional maturity of Elecam and the populations as a whole. Given the fact that the regional elections constitute 2 electoral colleges, divisional delegates voted by municipal councillors and traditional rulers voted by their peers, campaigns are ongoing that will end on the 29th of November 2025 by midday. Therefore, it is through constant questioning, improvement, learning from lessons, and unwavering patriotism that they will continue to build a credible, inclusive electoral model that inspires both confidence and professionalism.
And on to this press release from the Ministry of Territorial Administration, which reads, "The Minister of Territorial Administration hereby informs the national and international community that following the publication of Decree number 2025/412 of 1st September 2025, convening the electoral colleges for the election of regional councillors on the 30th of November 2025, and in compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Code, the Ministry shall be issuing accreditations to observers of the aforementioned poll. He therefore calls on interested national and international partners working especially in area of election democracy and human rights to submit to the Inspectorate General of Elections of MINAT latest the 29th of November at 3 p.m. prompt the files relating thereto, comprising the following documents. 1. An application addressed to the Minister of Territorial Administration. 2. A copy of the legal instrument justifying the legal existence of the organization or association working in the areas of elections, democracy, and human rights. 3. The list of full identities of the observers stating the localities in which they wish to observe. 4. A copy of an observation report of a previous election or any other useful documents, supporting documents. In addition to the above mentioned documents, international observers shall each provide 1. A copy of the passport identification page and the page bearing the visa and stamp of entry into Cameroon. 2. A mission order issued by the body or organization for which they work. 3. A photocopy of a round flight ticket if applicable. 4. A health or repatriation insurance. 5. A proof of sufficient resources to cover their stay and observation activities. All files submitted beyond these deadlines shall be rejected. The Minister of Territorial Administration hereby underscores that all transport, accommodation, and other costs shall be borne exclusively by the accredited observer organizations that assigned them. Yaoundé, the 24th of November 2025, signed the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. And we move on to this. Security crisis in the northwest region has led to the abduction of priests in Dop, prompting the Archbishop Andrew Nkia to issue an urgent statement. The prelate is demanding the immediate and unconditional release of the Reverend Father John Berigno, who remains in captivity. Patient Shintum completes that story.
The security situation in the northwest region has reached a breaking point, prompting Archbishop Andrew Nkia to issue an urgent and uncompromising warning. This can be seen in his firm and emotional statement following the abduction of priests in the Ndobdineri and the continued captivity of Reverend Father John Berigno. Speaking with unmistakable urgency, the Archbishop expressed deep concern for the safety and well-being of the abducted priest. He reminded the public that the Church stands on values that cannot be shaken: compassion, justice, and the protection of human life. In an unprecedented move, Archbishop Nkia has set specific deadlines for the unconditional release of Father Berigno. He warned that if these conditions are not respected, the priests and religious personnel serving in Dop will be forced to withdraw from the area for their own safety. The Archbishop also reaffirmed a long-standing church principle: no ransom will ever be paid. He stressed that such payments only fuel further violence and place more lives at risk. As tensions rise, the Archbishop has called on Catholics across the Archdiocese of Bamenda to stand as one. Plans are underway for a peaceful march to Baba 1, where the faithful will remain in prayer and solidarity until Father Berigno regains his freedom. Archbishop Nkia described this moment as a test of unity, faith, and courage, telling Christians that their duty is clear: support their spiritual leaders, pray without ceasing, and work towards a peaceful resolution. His message echoes across the region: a demand for justice, a plea for peace, and the protection of every human life.
And as you heard in one of our lead stories, Labogene and Anor have formalized a strategic accord to improve the country's infrastructure sector. The 2-year renewable partnership seeks to enhance testing procedures for building materials and uphold national standards in the country. Patient Shintum reports.
Cameroon's civil engineering sector records a fresh leap forward this November 24, 2025, as 2 of its key technical institutions seal a strategic cooperation pact designed to boost quality control and reliability in construction materials nationwide. The National Civil Engineering Laboratory, Labogenie, and the Standards and Quality Control Agency, ANOR, signed a partnership agreement during a ceremony at Labogenie's conference hall. The event brings together personnel from both institutions, led by their Director Generals, Jean Moufo and Chantal Andeli.
There is a new decree of June 7, 2025 on the follow-up of construction materials, which gives Labogenie a significant role to play in the infrastructure sector, notably ensuring that building materials are up to standard.
Under the new arrangement, ANOR works closely with Labogenie to ensure that tests on construction inputs are carried out rigorously and that results remain credible, consistent, and scientifically defensible.
We work in partnership. It benefits Cameroonians generally, not only ANOR, because we want to make sure that Cameroonians enjoy what they put in place in terms of buildings, and that they are sustainable buildings, and that they are buildings that can last. The public work buildings that are, public work infrastructure that are put in place are lasting infrastructure. And they can only be lasting infrastructure when the standards required for each is respected.
The partnership will strengthen national efforts to monitor, evaluate, and validate construction materials. After the official signing, both leaders also enter the partnership into the signature register, marking what they describe as a mutually beneficial step. The agreement spans 2 years and is renewable, setting the stage for sustained cooperation in the country's civil engineering sector.
As the festive season approaches, families are gearing up for creating unforgettable moments with their loved ones. However, amidst the excitement, it is crucial for parents and caregivers to prioritize the safety of their children. Mimi Tiobo spoke with some parents in the city of Yaoundé and compiled this report.
As the world wrap up things to get into Christmas mode and shops for perfect gifts, it is essential to consider the safety of children during this period. There is first of all the night. You need to see that the children don't go out after 7 p.m. The children don't need to go to shops to do anything other than their houses. As it concerns the little ones, we need to ask them not to collaborate with people that they don't know.
Nos petits-fils, on les demande de ne pas collaborer avec les gens qui ne connaissent pas.
The increase of foot traffic and crowded spaces, school activities and other activities taking place, there are greater potentials for accidents or incidents that could affect children.
Donc nous leur demandons de ne pas sortir. Nous demandons aux vigiles.
We ask them not to go. We ask the security not to let them out without the parents' concern, except for children who have the habit of going home on their own. But for those who need to be accompanied by their parents, we ask them not to stay until the parents arrive.
Accompagnés par les parents, nous leur demandons de rester là jusqu'à ce que les parents arrivent.
Parents refers to this period as being crucial, a season not to be distracted, but focus on children's security. We advise the children not to work with unknown people, to avoid going out with unknown people, scared of what can happen to them. Because during this festive period, a lot of bad things is out there. Festive seasons are time for creating cherished memories with loved ones and taking proactive measures to ensure children's safety in various aspects of celebration. Check on healthy eating and put them on strangers alert. Security in schools and ensure they have a hazard-free environment for indoors and outdoors play.
And onto this, WOMAID has launched a 3-day program in Okola aimed at strengthening women's participation in local governance. Over 300 women and girls came together as Cameroon prepares for the upcoming municipal and regional elections. Phillips Enchi reports.
dressed in a unique traditional attire, accompanied by songs of joy. Members of the Women on the Move for Equal Development are now ready to take the lead in governance as they proceed with a 3-day training at the Okola Royal Women's Center in the Lekki Division, Okola Subdivision Center region on November 24, 2025. An initiative of the promoter Virginie Edouard, wife of Gilbert Didier Edouard, the Secretary General at the Ministry of Finance. Honorable Evelyn Chantal Tassi aims at strengthening women's participation in civic life and local governance through the creation of a women's academy, while seeking to involve women and girls in local governance as the municipal and regional elections fast approaches. The double ceremony was presided over by the Divisional Officer of Okola, Abubakar Musa, accompanied by the Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon, Marie-Claude Harvey. A program funded by the Canadian government is the fruit of a long-lasting bilateral relations between Yaoundé and Ottawa. Participants are expected to acquire vital skills in local governance, enabling them to access political spaces and further promote women's empowerment.
En effet, l'Académie de leadership des femmes, dont la création est actée ce...
In effect, the Leadership Academy created here in Okola will be an opportunity for the women to participate in decision-taking within the political atmosphere and also in citizenship. This reinforcement capacity building will proceed in partnership with WOMED. This initiative is in line with President Paul Biya's objective in empowering women at the national, regional, and international level. At the launching ceremony, we go a long way to reinforce the governance capacity of over 300 women and girls. The collaboration is a success.
Je suis particulièrement comblée de joie aujourd'hui.
I am very happy today as we launch the project to reinforce the capacity of women and girls in Okola and Fu in leadership and also to participate in local decision taking. I want to use this opportunity to thank the Canadian High Commission to Cameroon for accepting to be part of this project. I want to also thank the administrative authorities for their unending support.
Qui nous soutiennent constamment.
The observation of the Canadian High Commission is clear.
I'm very happy to be here. The energy of the women is fantastic, and we can see that they're very motivated to be involved in local governance. And I hope that we have a lot of candidates, but there will be 50 women trained, 25 in Okola and 25 in Mfu, to be able to be rightful participants in the next elections in 2026.
The training will equip women and girls in Fu and Okola with knowledge on women's rights and other key areas essential for active participation in public life.
The
training will consist of reinforcing the women's capacity and women's rights. There are so many women who do not know their rights. When we talk of the International Day of Women's Rights, some of them don't even know the importance of this day. Some of them only think about the festive part of this day and so on. So we will be teaching them some of these aspects so that they can express themselves when they are faced with issues relating to their rights. Satisfaction remains the lone word.
Ce projet représente pour nous un grand départ.
This project represents a lot to us. It is going to empower us, the women. It is going to permit us become independent and come out from the male domination. The project will help us as women to take a political stand and also maintain our role in the society.
Dans les prises de position en politique, dans l'affirmation dans la société. Nous sommes satisfaits que...
We are satisfied to receive this program, and we believe that it is going to be a life-changing program for us women. Aligned with President Paul Biya's vision to invest more in women and girls, the training is expected to create greater opportunities for women to voice their concerns, engage in political activities, and take part in local governance. With support from the Canadian government, the program is designed to boost women's involvement in public decision-making as the regional and municipal elections approaches. The ceremony was attended by the Secretary General at the Ministry of Finance, Gilbert Edouard Didier, Honorable Tassi, administrative, local and traditional authorities. All that begins well ends well, as the women are now expected to make a meaningful impact within the political arena.
Agro-food industries in Kribi have been equipped for sustainable local development. This was during a seminar organized by Standards and Quality Agency dubbed ANO. Agnes Ayok reports.
In partnership with the National Confederation for Cooperative Societies for Economic and Social Development of Cameroun, Agence des Normes et de la Qualité organized a seminar aimed at enhancing the capacities of agricultural cooperatives and the agri-food transformation industry in Kribi. Following a period of growth, this initiative is set to empower local entrepreneurs, allowing them to take full advantage of the opportunities presented. It is a question for us to give the necessary tools to these producers to present in the Cameroonian market and even internationally. For over 4 hours, participants, including producers and processors of essential goods, were engaged in presentations and discussions with experts from the north. These exchanges focused on best practices in production, transformation, and governance, all geared towards fostering sustainable local development. It is important for carnivorous products to be respected by offering agro-food cooperative companies and the agro-food transformation industry. The seminar's primary goal is to equip these key players in the local economy with the tools they need to enhance their performance and competitiveness. The objective of this activity is to support local producers to produce quality products. By enabling them to modernize and align with international standards, the initiative aims to strengthen their market presence and create pathways for economic growth.
And out of Cameroon, from Nigeria to Gabon and South Africa, different stories are making news around the world. Jessica Ndiwum focused on these nations and compiled the following report.
50 out of the 303 students abducted from a Catholic school in Niger State, north-central Nigeria, have escaped and reunited with their families. The children aged 10 to 18 fled captivity between Friday and Saturday. According to CAN, chairman and school proprietor, Reverend Boso Duana Yohana, authorities say 253 students and 12 teachers remain in captivity. In a separate incident, 38 worshippers kidnapped during last week's deadly attack on the Christ Apostolic Church in Kwara State have also regained their freedom. President Bola Tinubu created security agencies for securing their release. While in Gabon, French President Emmanuel Macron has arrived in Libreville as he continues his African tour following the G20 summit in Johannesburg. This visit marks his first trip to Gabon since General Brice Oligui Nguema seized power in a coup that removed longtime leader Ali Bongo. During a joint address, Oligui Nguema thanked France for its support during Gabon's transition and the recent electoral process. According to the LEC, Macron's tour is aimed at resetting France's relations with African nations and distancing Paris from its colonial legacy, a goal the French leader has emphasized since his first term. And in South Africa, China says it is ready to strengthen cooperation with South Africa across multiple sectors as Premier Li Qiang met President Cyril Ramaphosa in Johannesburg ahead of the G20 summit. Li Jiang, delivering greetings from President Xi Jinping, highlighted the long-standing ties between the two nations and pledged deeper political trust and broader strategic collaboration. Beijing signaled its willingness to support Pretoria in safeguarding the multilateral trading system and accelerating zero-tariff access for South African goods. Li Jiang outlined plans for expanded cooperation in mining, infrastructure, energy, the auto industry, artificial intelligence, and science and technology, including satellite navigation. He also called for enhanced exchanges in poverty reduction, rural development, public health, culture, education, and youth engagement. Ramaphosa thanked China for its continued support and affirmed South Africa's readiness to deepen bilateral ties for shared development.
And we have come to the end of tonight's edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for watching, and stay in the company of our programs as Claudianta comes up at 8 p.m. for the news in the French language. Good evening.